Hug your knees into your chest. Gently rock your pelvis from side to side. And then place your hands on your knees and circle your legs around. Moving in one direction and then going the other way. Feeling the thigh bones move in the hip sockets. Then take hold of one of your knees and send the other leg down to the floor. Gently draw the knee in towards your chest and shoulder, keeping the other leg stretched away. And then circle your foot around, moving in one direction, then the other, and then moving forward and back. Then take your opposite hand onto the knee and gently pull the leg across the body. Take the other arm down to the floor. Hold it there and breathe. Gently drawing the knee down with every breath you take, keeping the other leg gently released and stretching out along the floor. Aim to keep your arm down on the floor and the chest open. Come back to center. Take your hands behind your thigh and try and stretch the leg up towards the ceiling, gently lengthening the back of the leg. Stretching up, taking the hands down to the floor, circle the leg around. Moving in one direction, keeping the hips on the floor, and then go the other way. Come back to center, hug the knee in one last time, and then bring the leg down to the floor. Switch sides, bring the other leg in and stretch the other leg away along the floor. Take the knee in towards your chest and shoulder, gently guiding the leg in, keeping the other leg stretched away along the floor, and then circle the foot around, moving in one direction, then the other, and then moving up and down. Then take your opposite hand across the knee, gently draw the leg across the body, take the other arm out and onto the floor. Stay open through your chest. With every breath, gently draw the leg down towards the floor. And then come back to center. Take the hands behind the knee, stretch the leg up towards the ceiling, and then come back down. Circle the leg around, keeping the opposite leg on the floor and the pelvis still, and then circle the other way. Try and keep the upper body connecting down into the floor. Then hug that knee in, hug the other knee in, and bring your arms up above your shoulders and your chest. Legs, knees above your hips. On an exhale, lower one leg down to the floor and come back up. Switch. And keep breathing through as you switch the legs. As one leg comes up, the other leg comes down. Keep the pelvis level and the back of the ribs heavy. Arms stay above the shoulders, shoulder blades stay connecting down into the floor. Try and move through the hip sockets, then hug the knees in. And take the feet together, knees apart, slide the legs away as you exhale, and then lower the legs down towards the floor, just to where you can without the pelvis or spine lifting. Inhale to slide the legs away, exhale to come back in, and then lower the legs down towards the floor. Try and keep the upper body connecting down into the floor. Stretching the legs away, through the hip sockets, lower the legs down. Then reach your arms out to the side, bring the legs together. As you exhale, take the legs over to one side. Come back to center and move the legs over to the other side, keeping the upper body connecting down into the floor. Your hip will lift off the floor as you take the legs over to the opposite side. Try and control the movement through your center as you move away and as you come back. The chest stays wide, the back of the head heavy. Then straighten the legs up towards the ceiling. Take one leg down to the floor. Bend the knee in, stretch the leg up. Keep the other leg still as you lower the opposite leg down. Bend the leg in and stretch the leg up. Inhale to lower down. Exhale to bend in and straighten up, keeping the pelvis balanced. And again, lower down with the other leg. Bend the knee in and come back up. Then as you take one leg down, you bend the leg in, the other leg comes down. So we move into a bicycle movement. You want to try and make the movement as big as possible. So as one leg stretches, the other leg bends in. The pelvis stays level. And then you stretch your legs up to the center. Hug the knees in. And then bring the legs down to the floor. On an exhale, keep the feet connecting down, roll the spine away from the floor. Inhale at the top. Exhale, roll back down. Stay wide across your chest. Connect your feet down into the floor. So as you breathe out, the pelvis rolls in, the tailbone lifts, the lower spine peels up, the mid-spine, and you come onto your shoulder blades. And then you roll back down, aiming to bring each vertebra down one at a time, bringing the pelvis back into a level position. Exhale, peel up again. Now press into one of your feet, fold the other leg up into tabletop, and then try and stretch the leg up. Bring the leg down, press it down into the floor. Press that foot down, fold the other leg in, stretch the leg up, bring the leg down, lower the leg down. Lift the hips if they feel like they've dropped, and then roll the spine down. Breathe in. Breathe out, roll the pelvis in. Peel up, press into the opposite foot. Fold the other leg in, stretch the leg up. See if you can lower the leg down, still lifted through your pelvis. Bring it up. And then lower the leg back down to the floor. Fold the other leg in. Stretch the leg up to the ceiling, lower the leg down, keeping the pelvis lifted. Come back up, and then fold the leg in, bring it back down, lift the hips. And then roll the spine down. Hug the knees into the chest. Take your hands behind your thighs. Slowly roll yourself up and come up into sitting. Take one leg forward, take one leg out to the side. If you can, take your arms in front. If not, take them behind you. And then see if you can bring your legs up and move them over to the other side. So you're in the same position, you've reversed it to the other way. Come back to center and then back to the start position. So lifting the legs up, the knees up. Feet connect down into the floor, and then you move over to the other side. Lift back up and then come back to the start position. Now switch your leg position. The opposite leg moves in front, the other leg out to the side. Either with your hands behind or in front, lift the legs up and then turn over to the other side. So we bring the legs up towards the ceiling and then bring them back to the start position. Knees up, feet down. Take the legs out the other way. Come back up, back to the start position. And then come into a 4-point kneeling position. Sit back onto your heels with your knees slightly wider than your hips. Stretch your arms forward. Keeping the spine aligned. Bring yourself forward and then sit back onto your heels with your toes tucked forward. Inhale to come forward, spine and pelvis level. Exhale to come back down. Try and keep your pelvis stacked at all times and the spine in a neutral, level position. So you don't want to tuck your tailbone under. Bring the legs back into a neutral position. Take one leg forward and then hinge through the opposite knee to bring the hip forward. and then switch back. Come into a hamstring stretch. So bend the knee, stretch forward, bend the knee and stretch the other leg back. Bend, stretch forward, bend the knee and straighten the leg. The leg that's forward, shift it across your body, aim to bring the knee down and stretch the other leg back into a straight position as much as you can. Keep your hands pressing down into the floor, the arms long, and hold it there and breathe. Pigeon stretch. Try and straighten that back leg out and keep level through the pelvis. Tuck the toes under, lift that back leg up and come back into a 4-point kneeling position. Sit down and take a stretch. Roll yourself up, switch legs. Bring the other leg forward, move into a hip stretch. And then come back and that front leg stretches into a hamstring stretch. Come up and stretch forward. Come back to center and move back into a hamstring stretch. Forward, feel the hip stretch. Back, feel the hamstring stretch. Then come back into a kneeling position, take the front leg across the mat, bring the knee down and stretch the other leg back behind you. Keep your hands pressing down into the floor, chest wide, ribs down, pelvis level. Hold it there and breathe, aiming to keep that back leg stretched. Then tuck the back toes under, lift that back leg up and sit back into the rest position. Roll yourself up and come into a seated position, hands behind you, feet connecting down into the floor, pelvis in the center. As you exhale, hover the pelvis away from the floor. Inhale to lower back down, stay wide across your chest. Exhale to hover up. And inhale to lower. Exhale, keep the feet connecting down. See if you can start to lift up a little bit higher so we open the hips and work the glutes. Inhale to lower back down. Press the hands and feet down into the floor. Slowly press yourself up, open the hips and lower back down. Try and keep the shoulders away from the ears. Just go up to where you can. And then lower back down. Now bring your elbows down onto the floor. Stay open through your chest. Press into your elbows and bring your legs up into a connected position. Exhale, move them over to one side. Inhale, back to center. Keep the legs together as you exhale, move over to the other side and bring them back to center. Exhale, over, back to center. Keep the upper body as still as you can as you take the legs over and come back to center. Now you're going to move the legs over, circle them down, around and back up to center. Then reverse, move the other way, circle down, around to the other side, back to center. Exhale, over to the side, around and down, over to the other side, back to center. Stay open across your chest as you move. Bring the legs down to the floor one at a time. Press yourself up. And now come onto your elbow on your side. Bend the bottom leg. Have the top leg stretched out. On an exhale, press into your elbow and your top foot, bottom knee, and lift yourself up. Inhale to lower down. Exhale, work from your center to lift yourself up. Stay long through your head and neck and lower back down. Lift up and lower back down. Now as you lift, once you're lifted, lift the top leg up, bring it back down and then lower your body down. Stay lifted through your chest and shoulder. Keep the elbow pressing down into the floor. The bottom leg gently pressing down into the floor as you hover the top leg up and down. Now stay in a side lifted position. Bring the top leg forward and then press back. Inhale to come forward. Exhale to press back. Try and stay lifted through the upper body, steady through your pelvis, and keep the bottom leg anchored down into the floor. Now take the top leg in front, rest the foot onto the floor, and lift the bottom leg up away from the floor. Exhale to lift. Think of the whole leg moving as one unit. And then inhale to lower back down. Again, keep the upper body stable. If you can, take the bottom leg into a circular movement. So circling up, round and down, moving the whole of the leg within the hip socket. And then hug that top knee in. Take the hand onto the foot, and if you can, draw the leg back behind you. Switch round to the other side. Come and rest onto your elbow, bottom leg bent, top leg straight. On an exhale, lift up into a side plank position. Come back down, breathe in. Gently press into the top foot, the bottom knee, and the elbow. And exhale to lift. Come back down. And now as you lift, you're going to lift up and then lift the top leg. Lower back down and then lower the body down. And again, lift up, lift the top leg up, lower down and lower back down. And again, lift, back down. Then keep your pelvis down, move the top leg forward and back, staying lifted onto your elbow. The pelvis stays steady as you take the leg forward and back. Then bring the top leg onto the floor and lift the bottom leg up, keeping the leg moving as a unit. Again, keep the pelvis steady. Press down into your elbow as you lift and lower that top leg. If you can, move into a circle, circling that bottom leg around. And then hug that top knee into your chest. Take the hand onto the foot and draw the leg back. Come and lie onto your front. One hand on top of the other. On an exhale, lift one of your legs up away from the floor, keeping the pelvis level. Lower the leg back down. Repeat on the other side, lift the other leg up and then lower back down. Keep the upper body connected into the floor, shoulders easy, chest wide, ribs down. Aim to keep the pelvis level. Then stretch both arms out to the side, lift one of your legs up, bend the knee, and then see if you can take that leg out to the side, return back to center, straighten the leg. Repeat on the other side, lift the leg up, bend the knee, turn the leg out to the side, keep the chest open, and come back down. And again, lift, bend the knee, open the hip, take the foot out to the side, come back down, and repeat on the other side, staying wide across your chest. Then take one hand across the body, take the other hand onto the foot on the same side and gently draw the foot in towards your chest, your hip, and then lower back down. Switch to the other side, bend, and then come back down. Press your hands into the floor. Come and sit back onto your heels and stretch your arms forward. Roll yourself up. Come and roll yourself down into a lying position. Hug your knees in and finish with some knee circles, circling the legs around as we did in the beginning. And then reversing and going the other way. Bring the legs down. Bring the feet together. Slowly take the knees out to the side and hold it there for a breath. Slowly releasing the inner thighs. Staying open through the upper body, roll the legs back to the start position. Bring the knees together, take the feet out to the side and hold that position for a breath. Feeling the movement within the hips and the thighs. Walk the feet back in, stretch the legs out, stretch the arms away, full body stretch to finish. Hug the knees in one last time